Hello. Welcome to Sound Off Saturday. I'm back. Semi back. Oh, look at this one hair sticking up. Let's just pull it out. Oh, where's mine? Hold on, looking for something. Hold on one second. All right, all right. Good afternoon, everybody. What'd you say? Well, I hope you got more. I hope you got enough since you eating as you cooking. I said, I hope you have a lot since you're eating as you're cooking. All right, everybody. It is 4:05. It is Sound Off Saturday. And it's been a long time since I've done Sound Off Saturday. A long time. As a matter of fact, I have not done a Sound Off Saturday in 2023 at all. So this is the first time I'm back. I'm back with my microphone. Check, check, check. But I also have my microphone attached to the computer, so I got to be careful because I got a lot of other stuff going on. But welcome, welcome, welcome back. Like and share the post. Like and share. It should be public. Hold tight. Let me do something right quick. Let me delete this. Let me make sure it's public because the last couple things that I've done online I had to make private because there's people that I don't want to talk to, right? Jumping on my post. Okay. Oops, hold on. Not edit post. Edit the privacy. There we go. All right, so I'm making it public. Therefore, you can like and share with people and then other people can join. Hey, Tiana. Hey, Jamila. I'm back. Yes, I am. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I haven't had a Sound Off Saturday in 2023. So there is no humanly possible way that I'm going to be able to cover everything that has transpired since January of 2023, but that's okay. Welcome back. Welcome back. Instagram people are back with me. Please like and share the posts with friends and family. I am back with my Sound Off Saturday. And yes, because, hey, Jeff, because my schedule and all of our schedules have picked back up to, normal life and all those things. I think what I'm going to, I came up with something while I was getting ready to come down here, and that's Sound Off Saturday Bites. Sound bites, sound bites. So I think that the Saturdays that I can't get on for my full time, I'll do some Sound Off Saturday bites. I think that. But I'm here today. There's a lot to talk about. I cannot get through it all. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much. It is my husband's pastoral anniversary weekend. This will be his 5th year in the pastoral role at Providence Baptist Church in Leesburg, Virginia. And I believe, you didn't miss anything, I just got started. I believe the actual anniversary date, Corey, is April 18th. Cool. Yeah? Yeah, I think the actual date is April 18th, but that's okay. We're close enough. So thank you so much for the anniversary wishes, and I can't wait for the service tomorrow. We're having within our normal service regular service hour, just some special things happening. And then afterwards, we have like a kind of a rolling repast event out at a restaurant. It's going to be really nice. Nothing big and nothing too formal, but just something to show our appreciation and love and all of that. And the microphone is back because there's a lot to talk about. So Sound Off Saturday, for those of you who are new, Sound Off Saturday is all things politics, is all things culture, is all things pop music, entertainment, TV, movies, church, the gospel world, bloggers, whatever. We are talking about any and everything here because nothing is off limits. And I don't want you to be surprised because I am a preacher and I'm a pastor's wife about things that I talk about, because all these things are a part of the world and we can't act like they exist outside of us. We got to stop ignoring things and talk about them, and sometimes we can have a little fun with them, all right? So let's go back really quickly 1 week back to Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday for my Christians that are on here. I know we are still in Ramadan for any people that are of the Muslim faith in the crowd. They are fasting and praying and doing everything. And we just came off of our Lenten season ending with Resurrection Sunday. And I saw some of the funniest memes floating around for Easter that I always see. But the new one that I saw called Easter Church Prom. And that is the perfect description of what Easter is. And don't be mad at it. People like to dress up. I like to dress up. People like to bring out the dangly earrings, the rhinestones, the big hats. They like to bring out the Berkshire stockings. Remember the shimmery Berkshires? Y'all don't know nothing about those. If y'all have never had Berkshire stockings, you have not had the good stockings. People bring out slips. Excuse me. People bring out slips for Easter. And someone saying that Easter is church prom is literally perfect. It is the perfect thing. Everybody comes out for prom. Everybody pulls out all the stops. You pull out the best jewelry, the best shoes, the best hat, the best purse, the best skirt, the best whatever. And even if you decide not to dress up like that, there's usually still themes. Now, I'm going to tell you what I noticed this year. Our Berkshire shimmers, exactly. Berkshire shimmers are specifically reserved for Easter. Get you the white shimmers, the gold shimmers, the silver shimmers. They just take your little outfit over the edge. One thing I noticed this year was there was a lot of white on Easter. So our choir decided like 3 weeks ago that we were going to wear white for Easter because we were like, we all have white, right? Some version of white. It wasn't even like super dressy white, but everybody has some type of white. A white shirt, white pants, white skirt, white full dress, white suit, whatever. But we all decided to wear white and it looked great. And it's so funny because one of my friends, Rashida, was like, we're in here with the Kojic white on this Sunday. And I noticed that a lot. In some Kojic churches, I noticed a lot of white on Easters too. But I noticed a theme everywhere this Easter. LaBryant and Fanika Friend. Yes, those are two people. They are pastors of Belong ATL Church in Atlanta, Georgia. His name is LaBryant Friend, and her name is Fanika Friend, pastor and first lady. Their whole church wore white, and her whole Instagram feed tipped her off on the Berkshires. That was so funny. She didn't know anything about Berkshires. And everybody told her about them, and it took her outfit over the top. They all wore white. I noticed Fellowship in Chicago under Pastor Reggie Sharp, that their whole church wore white. Some of it was dressed down. Some of it was dressed up. I noticed a lot of white in a lot of pictures I saw from a lot of churches. So I'm wondering like if that's kind of a newer thing that's going to keep going, like Easter white. And it makes sense, right? Because sometimes, I guess technically, old school thinking is that is the first time you will pull out white, right? It's kind of like from Easter to Labor Day. But people don't follow those rules anymore. I certainly don't follow those rules anymore. Being in a sorority, we never follow those rules. There's a lot of times when we have to wear white and it's off whatever season. But I just thought it was cool to see a lot of people in white. And I absolutely love people referring to it as Easter prom. As church prom, referring to Easter as church prom. Don't be offended by that. It's nothing wrong with that. Whether you only come to church that one time that year and you decide to dress up, the whole point is they're saying like everyone pulls out all the stops for that Sunday. And that's good. And it's nothing to be upset about. It's not, sometimes it is people poking fun, but that's okay too. It's okay too. Like, just let it roll off your shoulders. It's not that serious. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. All right, so we got Easter prom. We got church prom out the way. That was Easter Sunday. And there were some great outfits, and there were some great themes, and some incredible messages, some incredible revivals and holy weeks, and all these great things that were going on. And in the middle of the Lord being in his holy temple, let all his earth keep silent before him, SWV and Escape have been on this TV, and they have been on Facebook, and they have been on Instagram, and they have been on TikTok cutting up in the middle of the Lord's Lenten season. In the year of our Lord 2023 Lenten season, starting way back February 15th or so, all the way to present day. These groups have been on the TV cutting up. They've been on IG cutting up, and they've been on other platforms cutting up. So we're going to talk about them for a little bit, because it deserves a conversation. So I'm pretty sure everyone that's on here, although I can't see everyone's names, I don't see your names unless you make a comment. And my YouTube folks, I can't see your comments at all, but that's okay. I'm sure everyone in this group knows who, in these groups, these three groups, who SWV and Escape are. If you don't, I'll give you a brief history lesson, then we'll talk about what's been going on. SWV and Escape are both very successful groups from the 90s, girl groups. SWV, Sisters with Voices, are based out of Brooklyn, New York. And Escape, the four singers, are based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Okay? And each group has always had... not always had. Each group has a significant amount of hits, but we have to jump right into what's actual and factual, as TLC said, and that is SWV's song Weak. Can't explain why you love it makes me weak. That song alone has outsold every single Escape song. Those are the facts. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. They talked about that in the show amid some of the drama or whatever. And so when we talk about who's had the most success, a lot of people, some people say SWV, some people say Escape. It depends on the lens you are looking at, okay? SWV is an older group, so like I'm 43, right? And SWV is a group that is, if they are all not 50 yet, they are very close. And Escape is younger than them significantly, but not younger than me, okay? But they are still, SWV is kind of like the big sisters of the group. Anyway, this whole show was based off of the verses they had. Remember the verses we were doing on Instagram? Well, the verses was SWV and Escape, and everybody said that it was so good that they wanted to see maybe them try to go on tour or do something together. Because a lot of these super groups have been teaming up and doing some great things together, and who doesn't want to make money, right? And who doesn't want to hear hits from the 90s? I mean, everybody wants to hear, right? It's like they don't have to make any more new music for the rest of their lives. So this is why the show was put out, because they were trying to do a SWV and Escape tour, or Escape SWV tour, depending on who you was talking to, right? And this show was showcasing that and how they got to that moment. Well, we all know what happened is they ended up doing a one-night show. They did not end up coming to where it could be a full tour because there was too many egos and too much going on. And if I'm being honest, because I saw a lot of the actual lives that they were doing in real time online while the show was happening, a lot of the drama was coming from Escape, but that is because Escape has always had its own set of drama. It's always been Candy versus Tasha, Tamika versus Tasha, which are the sisters, Candy versus Tamika and Candy versus Tasha versus Candy. Again, it's always gone back and forth. And Little Miss Tiny, whose name is also Tamika, she's Tamika with the E. Sister is Tamika with the I. Little Tiny has always tried to be the peacemaker a little bit, but she got her shady comments and stuff too. And so any of you who knows these groups, I know these groups through and through. I have followed these groups. I used to read the copies of the cassette tapes. I used to read everything about them. I used to have posters everywhere of them. I used to pay all attention to them. You know that this drama lives long and strong. Okay, this drama lives long and strong. It's a lot of jealousy, it's a lot of vindictive behavior, it's a lot of toxic behavior. And what that has turned into is the sisters are not talking to each other, even current to this day. I just saw something online last night about it. The sisters, Tamika and Latasha Scott, are not speaking to each other. That is because Tamika with the I accused her sister Latasha and Latasha's husband Rocky of stealing a $30,000 royalty check from them, which she has the receipts about. She claims that her mother knows about that. And it's just been a mess ever since. It's been spiraling out of control. Tamika felt like her mother plays favoritism, and we've been watching all this play out. Meanwhile, SWV is over in the corner like, what can we do on this tour? But these four over here are not on the same page. And so many other things came out about this. And the reality of this is SWV has had their share of little hiccups. When Coco went solo, I think Lily and Taj felt some kind of way because they weren't necessarily strong enough to be solo. But they worked through their things. And they have been touring regularly, making great money for the last 10, 15 years. They've revealed that. Now, Escape, on the other hand, even though they've been touring recently, they have not had the success of continuing their career because of the drama. Now, Kandi and Tiny have had success on TV because of drama. Kandi being on The Real Housewives of Atlanta and Tiny showing her family's drama. But that success has nothing to do with the success of the group. That is success on their own. And so they've had a hard time keeping that group going and keeping it together. And honestly, I really just hope and pray that Iyanla comes out of her retirement and helps fix the sisters. And then after she fixed Tamika and Tasha, then she needs to fix the whole group. But she got to start with the sisters. Because the sisters, Tamika revealed some things about her relationship with Tasha and her mother that none of us ever knew. Like, we thought Mama Joyce was something. That's Candy's mama. But we found out some things about Tasha's mom. And of course, some of this is us passing judgment because we don't really know. We only know what they show us, right? But it's been an interesting ride. It really has. And it's been funny to watch them on IG later talk about stuff, especially SWV. I'm not talking about, it hasn't been funny watching the Escape drama because it's real. And it is a lot of tears and a lot of frustration. So I'm not saying laughing at them, but I'm talking about SWV and how they've referred to things because Lily is so Brooklyn. Lily is so Brooklyn. She just don't have time for this. And Taj is the mama of the group. And Coco's like, if I don't have my meds, I might knock all this over. And that's what she said on the show multiple times. Like, I didn't have my meds today. I'm not doing this. So it's been a roller coaster ride. The show is off now, but you can go back and watch it. I can't remember what it's on. But I was watching it on YouTube TV, probably BT Plus or something like that. It's over. The show is over, and SWV is getting ready to go on tour with Jodeci. So if y'all want to look out for that. And meanwhile, again, we all need to reach out to Iyanla, those of us who care about the group Escape. And Iyanla, we need you to come out of retirement, and we need you to work on the sisters. Tamika and Tasha need to work it out. And then when you get done with them, Bravo. Thank you, Jamila. It's on Bravo, the show. And then when you get done with the sisters, then you can work on molding and mending the group itself. So, at the end of the day, obviously we all hate to see these groups fighting like this or this group fighting like this. But the reality is when there's egos and there's money involved, and feelings and unresolved issues, it won't go away. You can't just get up there. It puzzles me, but it doesn't. I'm going to say this, but I'm not really shocked about it. Sometimes it is puzzling to see how well they sing that song Understanding when they know it ain't no understanding right on that stage. There ain't none. There's no understanding. But that doesn't shock me. It's just like anybody else. Sometimes people talk a good game, they're not living it. Sometimes preachers preach about things that they ain't living the way that they're preaching it, and so on and so forth. So I think sometimes people can think of things, they can think of it like just a job. It's a job that we do, right? And they don't read too much into it. And it's so interesting because in Detroit, when Escape was performing and Tamika with the I is the sister. Tamika with the I apologized to Kandi for lying on Kandi all of those years. She was slandering Kandi's name because she was protecting her sister Tasha, who she is fighting with right now. Hey, so in that Detroit show, Tamika with the I apologized to Candy on that stage. And you know what the song was? It was right after they were singing Understanding. Because I think it got to her. I think it got under her skin at some point. She's like, I'm sitting here singing about what I need from you is understanding. Y'all know that song. And they sitting here singing, and they ain't no understanding on the stage at all. Nobody's understanding anything. Talking about when we communicate, you don't hear what I say. That's exactly what's happening. We see it play out. And it got to her, and she apologized to Candy publicly. Candy was all crying. You know, Candy would cry in a minute, melting down. But that was a great moment to see. And I really thought that that was going to be the beginning of a good mending for them. And then again, it turned another way, as we have seen on this show. So like I said, the show is off now. SWV's getting ready to go on tour with Jodeci. But if you do want to watch, you got to go back. It's on Bravo. It's only a couple episodes. It's not super long. But I wish them well. And please, Iyanla, if you're watching this, I'm going to tag Iyanla when I get off of here. Please go help them. I want the sisters to work it out, Tamika and Tasha. And then after they work it out, you got to work on the group. Got to work on the group. And I absolutely believe every single thing Tamika is saying. I absolutely believe that money was stolen. I absolutely believe her feelings because it doesn't look contrived. Whenever she's talking about this situation, it does not look contrived. It doesn't look made up. It looks absolutely genuine. But I guess at the end of the day, I can never put anything past anybody, right? Sometimes people do stuff for social media. This is not one of those things, I don't think. I think we are seeing it play out in an ugly way. I just hope they get some understanding because understanding is what they need, okay? All right, and then speaking of understanding, we need to know what is going on in the whole United States. We got some areas that are flooded. We have some areas that are 54 degrees that are usually 80 degrees, and the 80-degree areas are now 54. I mean, we just seen all kind of stuff in Los Angeles, tornadoes, all kind of things happening. 86 degrees in the morning and 32 degrees at night. And people are still wondering about global warming. People are still denying these things. I don't know how they are living and breathing and not recognizing what is going on. So it's been some crazy weather everywhere. I know April showers bring May flowers, but I don't think we've seen a whole lot of storms just yet. But I tell you what, we will probably see is some heat because it's been hot. I am imagining that it is going to be smothering this summer. I'm predicting it. It's going to be smothering hot this summer. So you better get some good deodorant. If you use a natural deodorant, you better get them rocks. Stop buying Tom's natural deodorant. Tom's does not work. I've met one person that Tom's worked on, natural deodorant. You need to get the rocks or the crystals if you going natural. I use Arm & Hammer. Arm & Hammer has like a max version, but I use Arm & Hammer because it's aluminum free. But even sometimes I vacillate between the max version and the regular version because sometimes the regular version ain't doing it enough, so I got to get the max. It is what it is. But I'm just saying, if you're going to be all natural with it and it's going to be 92 degrees every day, you need to get the rock because the rock is probably like the purest thing you can use. Unless you're using regular deo. If you're a regular deodorant person with aluminum, then you go ahead and rock on with your bad self and use what you use. But if you a natural deodorant person, stop acting like Tom's works. It does not work. Tabitha Brown talked about Tom's. I talked about Tom's. Everybody I know has talked about Tom's. They have got on this public social media and talked about Tom's, and y'all still buying it. And it's still not working. And as a result, this musty buildup and people, it's whiffs of stuff coming across when people walking. Whew, that the air, like I said this to my husband, like, people have an air. Sometimes people have an air about them. What it smells like. It could smell like a deodorant, a perfume, or whatever, a must. And that's not what you want it to smell like. You don't want it to smell like that. But the other thing is there's a breath air too. Do y'all smell that? Like, I think that because we were wearing masks for so long and then we took them off, I think my senses are heightened now of what people's mouths smell like. So I was walking past some people the other day. We were going past each other like this. And as we were walking, it's like right when they got near me, right when we were lined up, they were saying something and their mouth was open. And it's like the mouth air hit me. Like, do y'all... get that too. And I'm not saying it's always stinky. I'm just saying like it's an air like in people's mouths that, it's like if somebody talking, hey, what's up? I don't know, depending on what the words they're saying or what letters they're pronouncing, it causes some wind to come out. So we have to do a better job of dealing with our underarms, and we have to do a better job of working in our mouths. As I say that, I'm thinking about my mouth because I just ate this candy and my tongue is feeling all weird. Anywho, so that's that. And then we have some pretty serious things occurring. We had the Tennessee 3, the 2 Justins, and that lady. I can't think of what's the lady's name, Gloria, or did I make that up? We had the Tennessee 3 legislators that were had their positions. They were ousted out of the House in Tennessee, which has to be illegal, right? And the lady, by one vote, was able to stay in, Caucasian lady. But the 2 Justins were ousted. They have since been reinstated. The Justin with the afro is a Howard University grad. The Justin with the ponytail to the back is a Fisk University grad. So shout out to HBCUs leading the way in this cause. That Justin with the afro, they are both profound speakers. When you listen to them talking, I mean, I hear greatness in them. I hear Martin Luther King. I hear Malcolm X. I hear Louis Farrakhan. I hear Cornel West. I hear Michael Eric Dyson. I hear Otis Moss. I hear all the great, I hear when those guys talk, when those 2 Justins from Tennessee, when they speak, I hear all the greatness in their voice. I hear all the powerful people, the Marcus Garveys, the James Baldwins, like I said, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan. I hear all of that in them. They are amazing orators. But that Justin with that afro, we're going to have to watch out for these Justins. These Justins are going to be something, and they are going to lead some serious movements because I'm going to be honest, I was surprised that they're reinstated in Tennessee. I was surprised. I think I mean, obviously I know why, the backlash from social media and everything like that, and or that was just an improper way to do it, right? You can't just get away with everything. But as we see after Netflix documentary, after Hulu documentary, after all these documentaries, we keep seeing time and time again where people have been able to get away with privileged things all of their lives. And at some point, you got to be called out on it. And these Justins were not here to play. So shout out to the Justins, the HBCU grads, the Howard University and the Fisk University grads, because they are getting ready to shake this thing up. What they are doing in Tennessee, hopefully, is just the beginning. Because obviously what those Republicans are doing in Tennessee is just the beginning of the corruption that the Republicans are going to try to do and have been trying to do, or the ultra-conservative Republicans, however they identify. But those 2 Justins are a part of another movement. And I keep telling people, this is just what I feel, and I could be hopelessly optimistic, and that's fine, because I'm going to stay that way. I can't not have optimism, but I am very optimistic that the generations going on and going forward are not going to bend on this. They are not going to let up on this ultra conservative. The days of I know Marjorie Greene Taylor and Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz, I know they are young. I know those are young, spiteful, angry, racist, misogynist, bigoted. I know that those are young. Josh Hawkins or whatever. I know that those people are young, and we see them in Washington, D.C., and we go, oh, racism is never going to die as long as those young people keep getting in there. But what I'm telling you is they are still not the majority. I just truly believe, and I'm just going to keep believing it, even if it's not real. I really, truly believe that these younger people, if the Republican Party wants a chance to survive, that they have got to get behind someone like a Mitt Romney, a Liz Cheney, and what's Liz's partner in crime that led up the subpoena committee for former Donald Trump. I can't even say it, but they're going to have to revamp that party, and they're going to have to look at another view of conservatism. because I know what it looks like. It's scary. I know what it looks like. I know the Ron DeSantis, the Ted Cruz's, the Mitch McConnells, and I know, and they're bringing in young ones that think like them and look like them and pushing for policy like them. But what I'm saying is, every year we have groups of people turning 18. Every year we have massive groups of people turning 18, and those massive groups are filled with massive people who are not going to vote massively ultra conservative like that. They aren't going to do that. I just believe that they aren't. I believe that they aren't. And even if that turns out not to be, I'm going to keep believing it. I believe that there's just a lot that they need to work on if they're going to survive. So shout out to the Justins for being reinstated. And I know that they're going to turn out and rock the vote when it comes time to re-elect them into their positions. I believe one is up in the fall, possibly. But I believe that those communities are going to turn up for them, and they are going to rock the vote and get some of those people out. And they have to, because the reality is we should keep talking about gun control. We can't bow to these cowardly lawmakers and legislators who want to blame transgender hormones on the last shooting. No, they want to blame that on the Covenant School shooting, but they didn't have nothing to say about the bank shooting because that was not a transgender person. They want to blame everything else but what it is. And every time I go into Washington, D.C., I don't even have to go to D.C. Every time I go to Fairfax, and I have to pass that NRA building that's off of 66, in Fairfax, in Virginia, something in me sometimes wants to just turn over there and just run up in the parking lot. I don't know what I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I just want to sit there and look at people. I don't know if I just want to hope that someone's going to come out and say, yes, we're going to make change. I don't know what I want to do. I just know that building sits there. It's an immaculate, it's not a perfect looking building, but it is a nice looking building with those nice blue windows. And I just imagine, I wonder what the people in there are doing. I wonder if they're just sitting in there ordering Panera on a daily basis, ordering Jerry subs, ordering Potbellies and doing the typical meeting notes for the day. Or I wonder if there's contention inside of that place. I wonder if there's contention in there. I wonder if people are coming in going, we got to do something, and they're kicking them out. I don't know. I just wonder what the tone is inside of that building and the people that work there. And every time I'm going up 66, every time I get to that location, and I always wonder how come more people haven't gone up directly to that building to protest. I'm sure it's fear, right? Probably the same reason I haven't driven up into that parking lot, right? It's probably security be meeting me at the door anyway, saying, what business do you have here? But I've always wondered why people don't go right there and protest. I know we go to D.C. because that's where the legislators and the lawmakers are, but I'm wondering how come people don't corral right to Fairfax, where that headquarters is, and see what time it is there. Anyway, I digress. So there's been a lot of serious stuff going on. And then there's been some light things going on, and it's just been a lot. And I certainly cannot talk about everything from January to the present. I know I haven't done my sound off in 2023 at all. This is the first one, but I certainly am not going to be able to hit all the topics. So I got some TV shows I want to run through and tell y'all about right quick. And then I want you to, while I'm talking though, I want you to put in the chat, what are some topics, throw them in the chat, some topics that I can quickly talk about. Because all I talked today was about Easter, Ramadan. I talked about SWV and Escape. I talked about the weather all over the Tennessee 3. I talked about the NRA. But what are some topics? There were some other things that happened. So much happened, I couldn't write it all down because I wasn't sure when I was ever going to come back to this. So I didn't have an opportunity to write it all down. But throw some things in the chat on IG, on Facebook, and on YouTube, and I'll try to talk about them a little bit. So I see a lot of people were introduced to Donald Glover through Swarm. Well, welcome to Donald Glover for those of you who are just now meeting him. Oh, Tanisha, that's a hard one. Woo! Okay, I'm trying to write down the ones that are coming in the comments. Ooh, boy, that's a hard one. Is Jamie Foxx really still in the ICU? Can someone confirm that? I thought I saw things that he was getting better and stuff like that. And speaking of that, Y'all know Leon, the actor who just go by one name? Cynthia Bailey's ex-husband from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Noel's father, who played on the, Ain't Nobody Coming to See You, Otis. Y'all know Leon. Y'all know Leon from Waiting to Exhale. He was the terrible boyfriend of Layla Rashawn, who was just using her, and he was married and whatnot. Somebody need to get Leon's Facebook and Instagram. Somebody need to get Leon's social media accounts and delete them and start over with. Leon is notorious for posting things that are not true and or for posting things too soon that aren't true. Leon had something up 3 days ago that Jamie Foxx was dead. And I don't know what is going on with him. Like, he's a real dude. He's a typical dude. It's like, dude, who runs your social media? And I have to believe he runs it at this point because the optics of it looks so trash. I can't believe a professional is doing this. I can't believe that. Somebody get a hold of Leon's social media and deal with him. Okay, my mom said Jamie Foxx is being upgraded to critical condition. Wow, I wonder what happened. I don't know. Anybody else? Put some more stuff in the comments. Tanisha, I wrote yours down. I'm coming back to that one. But what I was saying is a lot of y'all have been introduced to Donald Glover through Swarm, which is on Amazon Prime. It features Dominique Fishback and one of those sisters, Chloe and Haley Bailey is Chloe. It also features Damson Idris, who is from Snowfall. It was a bizarre show. It was a bizarre series. But it was about a girl who was so obsessed with a pop singer like Beyonce. Everything in the show was marrying like Beyonce. But it was about a girl who was so obsessed with a pop singer that she was doing a lot of things, including murderous and violent things, all because of her fandom. It was, woo, but that's Donald Glover. And if y'all don't know, Donald Glover's work in Atlanta. It's very much like Atlanta. And I know Donald Glover has done a lot of other things through there. Dale, no, Leon's page wouldn't have. He always has stupid stuff up like that. And he never, it's like he never comes back and says, like, my page was hacked or I didn't mean to post it. Sometimes he will come back and say, oh, well, somebody told me that. That's why I posted it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. He does. My mom is right. Leon does. He gives off one of those, like he seems kind of narcissistic. He seems like very arrogant. But somebody need to get a hold of his social media. So Swarm is a very interesting thriller if you want to watch it. There's a lot of imagery in it though. Donald Glover is not always a straightforward type of person. So you have to do a lot of it's like you need a commentary afterwards or something. You got to go to a conference to decipher some of the stuff he puts in there. But I think Donald Glover's a brilliant person. And I loved Atlanta, and I'm so upset Atlanta is gone, but it was a great show. So go back and check out Atlanta on FX too. Snowfall. I don't know what y'all doing if you ain't watching Damson Idris on Snowfall. I don't know what you're doing. It is the talk of everything. This is the final season. So if you haven't watched it, make it your business to get into it this summer. Snowfall is about the rise and the fall of the crack cocaine movement in the United States and the government's involvement in that. Oh, it's deep. It's deep and good. A John Singleton production. Rest in peace, John Singleton. But it's coming to a conclusion. Abbott Elementary is doing amazing things. I know some people are like, Abbott's not really funny to them. And I get it. Everybody's not funny to everybody, right? I like it. I think the characters are hilarious. They're very realistic as it relates to show, as it relates to school. And Ava was so funny in this episode. My goodness. But Quinta has a way of bringing in people and just, I don't know, like this show is amazing. So you got to watch Abbott. There's something on called Grown and Gospel. I don't know if y'all have heard of that, but it's about most of the people that are on there are sons or daughters of famous gospel singers or relatives, like Dorinda Clark Cole from the Clark Sisters. Her daughter Nikki is on there. One of Fred Hammond's children is on there, his daughter. Lisa Brooks Page, a gospel singer, her daughter is Tasha Page Lockhart. She's on there. Elijah Connor. Elijah is the guy who stared down Diddy like this on The Voice with that blonde hair. I went to high school with him. He's on there. His mother's a pastor. I don't know her. And then the other guy that's on there is the son of somebody from Commissioned Gospel Group that Fred Hammond and Marvin Sapp came from. It's interesting because it's called Grown in Gospel for a reason. Because most of these folks are grown in gospel, but it is absolutely ratchet. I'm really surprised that they're doing it. But I can't be surprised. Everybody want to check. That's all I'm going to say. And then I just got finished watching the Murdoch Murders. Oh, Grown in Gospel. Jamila, I think it's on Bravo also. I think Grown in Gospel is on Bravo also. Swarm is on Amazon Prime. Snowfall is on FX. And Abbott is on Hulu specifically. I just got finished watching that crazy Murdoch Murders scandal on Netflix. I had started it, then I left it alone. Because I don't have a lot of patience for watching privilege play out on screen. We all know that there are people in this country, and mostly Caucasian people, that have gotten away with so many things over there. Oh, I'm sorry, Grown in Gospel is on Weed TV, Jamila. Grown in Gospel is on Weed TV. We know that there are so many people in this country that have gotten away with so many things in the name of privilege, money, and power, right? It's been since the beginning of the time. It's why the story is always told the way they want it to be told, because they are the people that had the position, the power, the resources, the connections, and the Murdoch murders were no different. But it really is disgusting that having connections and privilege and money can literally get you away with murder. This family got away with multiple murders. Those families had little to no closure, no respect. Law enforcement that are supposed to protect and serve were only protecting and serving their own interests, the money that the Murdoch family was putting in their pockets. They were just embezzling funds, all sorts of things. And sometimes when I watch that stuff, I get really, really irritated and agitated. I have a hard time watching very wealthy and prominent people get away with things and me having empathy. But I know that I should and I'm supposed to, because I'm a Christian and I realize that everybody's God's children and people all go through things, right? But it does bother me. So I finally went on and got through it all today. And it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable the things that people have gotten away with. But the start of this country, they got away with murdering thousands of Native Americans on the Trail of Tears and then putting them all in other camps and things so that they can set up, and this could be their United States of America and not anyone else's. So why should I be surprised? That's how this country was founded. And those are the exact same things that they're trying to take away from our children from learning and wanting to know, that privilege and power and wealth and resources can get you off. Hence, our former Donald Trump. This is where we are. And then I watched Waco about David Koresh. Now, I knew about David Koresh and Waco, but I was a child when this was going on. I was a child. This was in the 90s, so I was young. So I didn't know all the details. I had no idea that David Koresh thought that he was Jesus. I just thought it was just and that is a cult, but I didn't know that he was asserting that he was Jesus. I also did not know that for years he had been amassing weapons of mass destruction. AR-15s, rocket launchers, and everything else. He had the weapons he had on his compound were more powerful than any tanks or anything that we had in the U.S. military at that time. They knew that if they drove a tank up on his property, he could shoot one gun and it would blow the whole tank up. That's how powerful the weapons were that he had, even though we were the government. And I'm trying to figure out, again, how does a man amass weapons of mass destruction like this all this time and a blind eye and a deaf ear was turned? Well, we look at who David Koresh was. He's a white male, Caucasian male. And of course, people do have the right to practice their religion and their beliefs and things like that. But when you endanger other people, that's where the government had to step in. And I had no idea that they were in a standoff with this dude for 51 days. 51 days. They said that the government, the FBI and the government spent a little over $1 million every day that they were standing off with this dude. So about $1.5 million every day. They spent over $51 million in a standoff with this guy. He had 80 people in that compound with him. Some people did come out at some point, but at the very end, when it all burned to the ground, because they burnt it up themselves, there were 80 people that went down with him. 22 of those people were children. Privilege. It baffles me. Privilege. Jeffrey Dahmer, privilege. Ted Bundy, privilege. John Wayne Gacy, privilege. The Oklahoma City bomber, Timothy McVeigh, he was mentioned in the series, privilege. When you think about all of these huge threats to American democracy, the bigger threats are not the citizens, are not people coming from other countries that they think are illegal. The biggest threats to this country have been people who are from here. They have documentaries to prove that. The Murdaugh family. Threats. I'm just like, I'm in awe when I watch this stuff. I am in awe that people were able to get away with this for as long as they were. And there's so much corruption and so much. And then let me tell you this. I found out from my sorority sister, shout out to Arnitra Duckett. She is my sorority sister. She is the president of Rho Mu Omega chapter in Washington, D.C. of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I found out from her last Saturday. She works for Scholastic, which is one of the biggest publishing companies in the world, right? Definitely in the United States. That any book that goes into the state of Florida has to be screened now. Every single solitary book, if it targets anything related to race, gender, sex, anything. So if they get like, for example, she gave us an example of a book that had a little black girl on the front with Afro puffs. Got to go through the screening process. Anything that has black, Hispanic, Asian, Middle Eastern images on the book, or information about their culture, anything that talks about gender, couples, that it has to be screened. Every book, did you hear what I said? Every single book. She said, I am not exaggerating. And she's a high up person in Scholastic. She's not a person that just puts stickers on a book. And I don't mean to degrade anyone's job. She's not a person that stamps books or puts stickers. She is a high up person. She travels all over the world for that. And that's why that Florida bill is so important for you all to go vote against. Because every single book that now goes into the state of Florida has to be screened. And that is unbelievable. And like she said, you better believe if Ron DeSantis gets away with this in Florida, that Texas is right behind with Mr. Abbott. And then you better believe that Mr. Glenn Youngkin here in Virginia is going to want to do the same. The only difference in DeSantis in Florida and Abbott in Texas is they have strong Republican base in their local houses and legislators. And Virginia is a little bit different. I'm not saying he can't do anything, but what I am saying is he doesn't have that strong presence like those two do. There are a lot of Democratic legislators and people that work in and around him. So there's a lot of stuff that he's tried to put out there and he's tried to do, and it's not all happening. Some of it is, some of it isn't. But that is a sin and a shame. That is a sin and a shame. And then I think I'm going to end with this because Tanisha brought it up. I'm going to end with Jonathan Majors. We are all still waiting to hear what is really going on with Jonathan Majors. In case you did not know, Jonathan Majors, who's been in every movie for the last 5 or 6 years. Okay, he's everybody. He's the biggest villain in Marvel. He has been on Underground. He is, I'm forgetting all the other stuff he's been in. Not Underground. Lovecraft Country. Creed with Michael B. Jordan. Jonathan Majors, allegedly his girlfriend said that she was assaulted in a taxi cab or Uber or whatever with him. She went to the hospital with some bruises and whatnot the next day. I guess they got out of this cab at night and she went the next day. And stories were swirling. Everything went so fast. And then some people started bringing up some questionable things about Jonathan Majors' past. Like he does seem like he has been aggressive toward women before and things like that. And then as quick as that story was floating in 2 or 3 days, then the lawyer came out and said that she fabricated it all because they were questioning why she went the next day and all this. His girlfriend is Caucasian. And she allegedly retracted her statement. They have video now showing that she left the taxi not the way that she showed up to the hospital. So I guess that's some pretty damaging evidence. If something did happen between them, it certainly didn't happen in the taxi, which she's asserting. And so everybody's trying to figure out now how they feel about Jonathan Majors. That's why you ain't seen nothing about him. That's why nobody's been talking about him, because that story's been swirling for about 2 weeks. And then it has gone dead silent because I think it's a lot of damage control happening. We don't know. We don't know. We don't have all the details. It would be terribly disappointing to find out he's that kind of person. And it would be infuriating to find out that she's lying, if she is lying. And let me go back. It would be infuriating to find out he's that kind of person. And it would be infuriating if she's lying. I'm not going to act like one is less than the other. I just hope, you always hope that it's not true. He seems like an up-and-coming guy. And there's something about when these men reaching the pinnacle of success, like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. And there's been so many examples of people getting to these heights of glory and like not being able to handle it. And I just, and this self-sabotage, I just can't help but think of that when I think of a person like him. So I don't have much information on that. I've been reading just like everybody else, and I just hope that the whole situation worked out. And I hope, honestly, that if he did do it, I honestly hope that this woman wasn't scared to death to be quiet about it. But we know that happens too. Cover-ups happen. People write checks. People get over things, all that. Let me see in the comments, Jamila, did you watch Praise This or the crossover? No, I have not, but I do want to watch those to see some funny people in those. So I'm going to check those out for sure. I'm going to check those out. Thank you. Thank you, Brookie Smith. Thank you for saying happy anniversary. Listen, yes, it is my husband's 5th pastoral anniversary weekend, and we plan to have a great service tomorrow, God willing, and then afterwards, going to have kind of a strolling event afterwards. At One Loudon, at a place called City Tap, and just hoping that we can do a little bit to show him he's appreciated. It's not easy being a pastor. It's not easy being a leader. It's not easy being a preacher, a teacher, any of those things. It's not easy leading people, but I think he's done a great job. It's been 5 years. The pandemic has made some of those years fly by. It's been ups and downs, but the reality is that's just the nature of the job. So we're just going to continue to do the best we can do and let God handle the rest. So as I said before, Sound Off Saturday is back. If it's not going to be my full hour, it is definitely going to be Sound Off Saturday bites. Okay, I'm gonna have some sound bite Saturdays because I want to make sure that I do it consistently, even if it's something quick or even if it's pre-recorded. I'm gonna be honest, there may be times where I pre-record and I throw it up there. I'm gonna try not to do that often. I'm gonna try to do the sound bites even if I have to do it really quickly, because I like the live aspect and being able to see people's comments as opposed to watching it later. So we'll see how it goes. Life is what it is. School teachers are tired. We're exhausted. We're ready for this thing to be over with. And parents, y'all just going to have to feel some kind of way about it. We tired. It's been a rough year. I think this year has been more rough than other years, if I'm being honest. And I'm ready for break. I know the kids are ready for break. And before anybody else shoots up a school or does something else crazy at a school, we need a break anyway, right? So anywho, I hope y'all have a great weekend and a great start to your week. I hope you do. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for sharing and liking and commenting and all those things. And people are like, when are you going to do Sound Saturday again? When are you coming back? When are you coming back? I've been trying. Just dance competitions and work and orchestra and band and chorus and work again and after school tutoring and church and sorority stuff and HOA stuff, and it's just been thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. And today was first Saturday in a long time where there was nothing to do except one thing for Tatum, but that took a short amount of time, and my husband took her. I didn't go, so it's not easy getting this rest. So yeah, see you tomorrow, Dale, and hopefully I will be back next week in some way, shape, or form. I will be in a different location next week though, so I'm gonna have to work that out. I won't tell y'all where I'll be, but I'm gonna have to work that out somehow, some way. Maybe I'll have some special guests because of where I will be and what I'll be doing. But we'll see. I'm gonna try to keep it going, and if I don't, you'll be the first to know. All right, y'all take care. Have a great, great, great evening and a great rest of your week. Bye.